Hello, beautiful people. It's Lulu. This morning, I discovered something astonishing. There are 2.7 billion active monthly users on YouTube. And of those 2.7 billion users, 37 watched my last video. 37. So today, I'm taking you behind the microphone because these past few weeks have been troubling for me. Self-doubt has crept in. I've been looking for external validation in numbers, and I wanted to have an honest conversation with you about that. Every episode on the Lulu Essey podcast focuses on transformation from the inside out. And every episode is unedited. That was a very specific and intentional choice when I started this podcast. And the reason I chose to make these episodes unedited is because I feel all the content we consume is so overproduced, is so perfectly polished, that the line between what's real and what's pretend almost or unreal gets very blurred. And I want to show up real always. However, I do script my episodes. I research them. I make sure my thinking is coherent. I make sure that there is a flow. But this episode, there is no script. It's just you, me, and the mic. And I want to open up. I want to pull back the proverbial curtain and let you into what's really happening behind this microphone. I want to share my vulnerability with you, and I want to also attempt to show you how I use my own tools in my everyday life. So the past few weeks, as I mentioned, I've seen my numbers drop. The number of people listening to the podcast is dropping. The number of people watching my YouTube shorts is dropping. The number of people watching the full episode of my podcast on YouTube is dropping. My Instagram views are dropping. My TikTok views are dropping. And I don't really want to explore the reason why that's happening, because I think what is of more value to us and this conversation is how it makes me feel and how I navigate and find my way through that and still show up for myself and for you. And let me start by saying that it is hard. This is a hard path I have chosen to walk. And it's almost like the universe is saying to me, every time I do an episode, something will happen in my life, or several things happen in my life, where the universe is saying, is that really what you believe? Are you showing that and demonstrating that through your actions? But the difference is, it may be hard, but it is not difficult. And there is a difference. And I don't want to dive into that difference on this episode. All I want to say to you is that it is hard, and how I find my way through that is by letting what I feel be my guidance system. I use my own tools on a daily basis, the tools that I have shared with you over the past 42 episodes. They are my go-to each and every day. I don't sit behind this mic and talk to you about tools that I don't practice in my daily life. So let's talk about something that I talk a lot about with you, and that is self-worth. And underneath self-worth is self-love. And not needing or looking to external validation for that self-worth and that self-love. So when I see 37 views, and that's not the lowest number of views, I shared with you recently on a YouTube short that I put out a video that had 2 views. It's hard not to attach my worth to those numbers. And I can't say that I'm always good at it. And I can't say that it just washes over me, because it doesn't. It hurts. And self-doubt does start to creep in. The difference is that I don't stay stuck there. I move through it by using my tools, by practicing self-compassion, by really connecting with the truth that my worth is non-negotiable, that my worth is just because, that my worth is not attached to 37 views, or hopefully one day 37,000 or 370,000 views. I need to find my worth where I am, irrespective of those views. So how do I let go? How do we let go of that external validation? Especially in a world where social media dominates everything, and we are taught directly or indirectly that our worth is tied to those numbers, tied to the number of views, the number of followers, the number of likes, the number of comments. So I do it a step at a time, a breath at a time, a moment at a time. And I truly do embrace imperfect action. I look for the next step I can take forward, even if that step is as simple as hydrating, as taking a sip of water. I find a way through, and it's not the perfect way, because there is no such thing. And then I use my frameworks, the kind witness, in this moment only, the love framework. And something I want to share with you today is, in amongst all of this stuff that's going on, I rediscovered a framework I developed when I was let go from my full-time position. And that is the whole framework. And it feels more relevant today than ever before. And the fact that I rediscovered a tool that I forgot about, I missed, was a really magical moment for me. So I want to break this tool down for you, because hopefully it will bring you some value. So I do not have a script, but I do have a few notes that I've written down. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. So W, worth comes from within, not external validation. The power of that phrase is profound, and living that is something entirely different. Saying it is very easy, but living it is hard because we are taught to measure everything. I measure things. I watch my numbers, not obsessively. And I have to say that is something I'm really proud of. But still, I watch the numbers to see how I'm doing, to see how many lives I'm impacting, because that is what is important to me, is I want to impact at scale. And I want to be clear on what that intention is about. It's about impacting as many lives as possible, to bring hope, to bring love, to bring joy, and a reminder that this is meant to be fun. And if there's anyone who takes themselves a little bit too seriously, I'm guilty of that. That's me. I can take this whole process all very seriously. Okay, let's me focus back on the whole framework. So W, worth comes from within, not external validation. H, humanity connects us beyond titles and achievements. And humanity connects us beyond numbers, beyond metrics, beyond algorithms, beyond AI. It is our humanity, our willingness to be real and honest with ourselves first, and then with those around us, that connects us. And that connection is so important. Today, more than ever, especially with the rise of AI, which is a reality in all of our lives. And I do consider myself a tech optimist. I don't feel doom and gloom when it comes to AI. Again, let me not digress and come back to the whole framework. So WHO, openness to multiple identity sources creates resilience. I'll say that again. Openness to multiple identity sources creates resilience. So what does that mean? That means I am more than just the person behind the mic. I am more than just my numbers. I am more than Lulu Essey, the executive creative director, the life coach, the podcast host. And I embrace those identities because they make the full complement, the full picture of who I am. And I invite you to embrace all the different identities that make up who you are, because every one of them is valuable. Every one of them has something to say and something to contribute. L, and I love this one. Legacy is about impact, not achievements. Legacy is about impact, not achievements. And I want to explain something about what I mean about legacy and impact. I said to you a few minutes ago that I want to impact as many lives as possible. And yet, I really do feel that impacting one life in one moment is a legacy I am proud of. Every message I get that says, your episode resonated with me, that really helped me, that really made me look at that something differently. That makes such a difference to me. That's impact. That's legacy. The way I see it. It may not be the way you see it, but it is the way I see it. And I would love nothing more than to build my legacy moment by moment through creating more and more impact. And that impact starts here. It starts with me and how I treat myself and how I love myself and my willingness to show up. 37 views, no views, or 3,700 views. The last letter, E. Engagement with life beyond work expands our identity. Now, this was really significant for me when I was in full-time employment. And the irony of all ironies is that it is still significant and meaningful because my work may have shifted, but my engagement with life goes beyond my identity as the host of this podcast, as the life coach, as the speaker, as the executive creative director. So I want to ask you, how does this resonate with you? Does the whole framework have any type of resonance? Does it bring you any hope? In what way do you look for your worth? Where do you look for your worth is a better question. Do you look for your worth on the inside, or do you look for your worth in what other people have to say about you? In your achievements, your productivity, your numbers, if you happen to be on social media or on a podcast, what your boss says about you. I'm not saying that those things are not important. They are, and they are meaningful. They're meaningful to me. But if I'm going to rely on those things external to me to qualify or give me worth, it's not sustainable. So, this is me sharing with you where I'm at the moment. This is unscripted and unedited. So I've shared with you the self-doubt that's creeping in around my numbers and some of the ways I find my way through that. And I want to be clear, and I'm always clear about this point. I cannot choose to do this on the days that I feel like doing it. Consistency is a daily practice. It's an hourly practice. It is what it is, and it means showing up when you're messy, when you're fraught, when you're full of self-doubt, when you're not actually loving yourself. You still show up. I still show up. And I invite you to show up in the best way you can. Not perfectly, but just as you are, just with a willingness to be present to your own life and to allow how you feel to be your guidance system, to be the thing that tells you if you're on track or not. So this is my invitation to you. Let's embrace this imperfection together. Let's be real together. Let's be honest together. And let's not pretend that it's not hard. I open my Instagram feed and I am absolutely bombarded by coaches, by celebrities, by people in the know telling me that if I follow their system for 6 weeks, 72 hours, however long, I will have success beyond measure. And maybe they're right. But it does not feel right to me. And this is not about overnight success. I think that's a lie that we've been sold. Some things take time. They take patience. They take resilience, all of which is doable. But this obsession with overnight success is harming us. It's hurting us because it's making us feel like failures when the overnight success is not there. So how about we replace the quest for overnight success with the satisfaction of doing better every day. And better could be this much, or it could be this much. It doesn't matter. It's just a small step forward. And something else I want to share with you is I've noticed when I ask you, my listeners, to share my episodes, I question myself and I say, Lulu, does that sound a little desperate? The way you pronounce the word and express the word share? Please share? Like I'm begging? Maybe it does sound a little desperate. But the request remains. Please share. Let's get this conversation out there. I do want your help, and I am asking for your help. Not demanding it, but asking for it if it feels right for you. To help amplify this message. Oh, there are other ways to amplify this message, and they come with a hefty price tag. And by that, I don't mean that in a figurative way. I mean that in a very literal way. I can pay to have this message amplified. I'm not in a position to do that right now. And more importantly, that does not feel aligned right now with who I am. So for those of you who have listened consistently or not through these 43 episodes, for those of you who might be hearing my voice for the very first time, thank you. Thank you for being on this journey with me. I'm finding my way as I go. And it's getting easier. And those goddamn numbers, trying to find my peace, my self-love, my self-compassion, when I see those numbers plummeting, is hard. But it is doable because it's an inside job. So I'm the one I need to rely on. And I invite you to rely on your wisdom and your inner knowing. And let the noise be the noise. We don't have to make the noise wrong. We don't have to make those millions of people on social media who are trying to sell their products wrong. That's not my intention. There are people out there who are benefiting from those messages, benefiting hugely. It's about being able to decide what is right for me, what is right for you, and making that decision from a place of, I am enough. I matter now. Without the followers, without the millions of views, I still matter. I am still enough. And I am still valuable. And so are you. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. And today, with messy imperfection and deep, deep appreciation for every person who has listened to this podcast, watched one of my videos on my social media platforms, thank you. This comes straight from my heart to yours.